Hi, welcome, and thank you for tuning in. You're about to go through an amazing program that I've decided to call 7 Days to Happiness because ideally you should watch one episode every day to fully take it all in. I'll be publishing initially that way, one per day, but once it's fully up, if you want to binge and watch it all at once, no one can stop you. I decided to launch this program because I'm one of the lucky people that during the pandemic died and was brought back to life. Now, please don't look at me as some sort of Lazarus rising from the grave. With today's technology, doctors, nurses, paramedics, even firefighters are reviving dozens of people around the world every day. But it has taken me a couple of years to interpret my NDE and make sense of this experience that we call life. And I'll be sharing some insights with you that are going to help you get a hold of your emotions, reducing your moments of sadness, anger, depression, grief, sorrow immensely, while increasing your moments of joy and happiness. How does that sound? If it's okay with you, let's go ahead and get started. Many decades ago, I saw a bumper sticker in California that read, "This life is not real. It is only a test." Had it been a real life, we would have been told where to go and what to do. Isn't that the way that we feel sometimes? Most of us have wondered, who am I? What am I doing here? Where did I come from? Where do I go when I die? What's my purpose? Now, these are deep questions, and although my NDE didn't provide me with all the answers, I do have some new information for you that is going to help you interpret the way you feel. Now, take a look over here, and you're going to find a list of emotions, sensations that most of us have felt and have made us feel one way or another in our lives. Now, if you're a fast reader, you've already finished. Let me ask you, have you felt all these emotions during your life? If you haven't, it might be that you're still young, but by the time you reach my age, you would have felt every one of these emotions many times. Now comes a key question. If I ask you to separate them into good and bad emotions, could you do it? If you're nodding yes or saying yes, I have news for you. There are no good or bad emotions. They are all part of this wonderful experience we call life. As William Shakespeare so wisely said in one of his plays, there is no good or bad, but thinking makes it so. For a few decades now, scientists have been measuring the vibrations of these feelings. Now, as you know, everything in this universe, including us, we're made out of atoms, and atoms vibrate. When we are feeling one way or another, we're either vibrating with the universe, connected to everything and almost everyone, or we are disconnected from everything else. Especially in the laboratory, these are higher level vibrations and these are lower level vibrations. So it stands to reason that if we spend more time in the higher level vibrations, we will have a better quality of life. But if we spend too much time in the lower level vibrations, our experience will not be as pleasant. Does this make sense? Because this is what this program is all about. How you can spend more time in the higher level vibrations while minimizing the time in lower level vibrations. And you can. I'll be showing you 7 ways that you can elevate your vibration every day. So let's get to the chase. What's a feeling? To put it simply, a feeling is our body's interpretation of beliefs to what happens to us in this life. Ta-da! And in case you're saying, don't ta-da yet, and go on and explain, okay, here we go. When we were born, what did we feel? We felt nothing and everything. We were an open book with blank pages. And then people started writing on them. First, the people who raised us, usually our parents, they began to tell us what they perceived to be right or wrong. Then our relatives, then our teachers, followed by our friends, the friends we made, the lovers we had. Even the co-workers try to tell us, this is what you should do and this is what you shouldn't. On top of that, the books that we read, the programs that we watched, the movies we watched, even the music that we listened to, all began to give us ideas. And once those ideas were confirmed, they became beliefs. And all these beliefs help us interpret what happens to us, making us feel one way or another. Now, this sense of self also gave birth to our ego, a term first coined by Sigmund Freud, and to me is one of the biggest barriers to joy and happiness. And I'll be talking about this on episode 2. So let's take a simple emotion, happiness. When I ask a group, can someone define happiness? A hand quickly goes up and says, yes, happiness is climbing mountains or skydiving. When I ask the rest of the group, does someone have a different definition? A hand will slowly go up and says, well, to me, happiness is watching a good romantic movie with the person that I love while eating popcorn. When I go back to the first one and I say, buddy, that sounds like happiness to me. What do you think? He says, are you crazy? That's boredom. I mean, kill me now. Life, you can't watch it on a screen. You have to live it. Okay? Well, who's right and who's wrong? The fact is that they're both right and everybody in between. So what is life? Life is a trip. It's our trip. As simple as that. Let me explain to you with an analogy. Let's suppose that we were to go into an amusement park and all of a sudden we walk by a roller coaster. And we look at the roller coaster as the train is going by and people are yelling, screaming. Now we have some people hanging out for dear life, and while other ones have their hands way up in the air, woo! And we look at it and say, that looks like fun. We should go. So all of a sudden, we're making a 2-hour line for a 2-minute ride. Does that make sense? But if you think about it, that is life. I mean, we spend an average of about 80 years on this earth, but what is 80 years in the span of the universe? Scientists calculate the universe to be 13 billion years old and the earth 4.5 billion years old. So now does the 2-hour line for a 2-minute ride make more sense? Now, let me give you further insight. And although I'm not ready fully to go into my NDE, I will tell you that on the other side, all I felt was connection, love, understanding, peace, tolerance, and acceptance. I think this is why other people who've had my same experience feel that they have seen or felt God. But when people ask me, if that place is so wonderful, what are we doing here? So I try to explain. Your life, my life, everyone's life is precious. We all came from the same source, we return to the same source, but we don't stay there for long because we are curious beings. We want to know how sadness, depression, loneliness, betrayal, hate, anger, disappointment all feel. And we can only experience that in the flesh. Let me ask you another question. Can you feel joy and happiness every moment of your life? Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, if we could, then we could no longer call it joy or happiness. It would become the norm. Joy and happiness would lose their meaning. I hope as we go through this program, you learn that the moments that I call low vibration should be embraced, because life is really measured by contrast. And these moments let us enjoy the moments that we perceived as good times even more. So if you want to know what our purpose in life is, why are we here? Well, we are here to feel. Everything else that we do is just a vehicle to create those feelings that we seek. But for those of you who are stuck in low-level vibrations like anger, loneliness, sadness, or depression, or if you're just the kind of person who spends a great deal of time worrying about things, this program can help you elevate your vibration so that you may enjoy life more fully, free of charge. As Wayne Dyer once said, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. I've always found it amazing that most people tend to seek enlightenment only after they reach a certain level of success. Oprah Winfrey used to conduct very insightful reporting even while wearing colored contact lenses. Then she became successful, then super rich, then she became spiritual. Matthew McConaughey and Jim Carrey have become spiritual after becoming rich, winning awards, and being recognized as a comedic genius, respectively. And finally, one of my heroes, John Lennon, who at age 26 sought enlightenment with the Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, spent 4 months with George Harrison in India to find, is there anything more to life? All this after having toured the world several times, owning a Rolls Royce, having millions of dollars, and even after his experience went on to write songs like All You Need Is Love and Imagine. In contrast, other people that I admired, like Robin Williams and Anthony Bourdain and Kurt Cobain, would take their lives, and I'll be talking about them in another episode. One last point. Is this program for everybody? And I'm going to have to say no. First of all, this program will have no religious overtones, so I really don't care what religion you belong to. As a matter of fact, if you're an atheist or an agnostic, welcome. Now, there's one group that I would exclude. If you think that we are this, the body that we are, and that when we die, the curtain drops, everything fades to black, and somebody yells cut, and we don't exist anymore, I'm sorry, the program is not for you. Okay, so I apologize for taking this much of your time. But if you do believe, like most of us do in this world, that we are a spirit, we do have a soul that does go on beyond this body, then welcome. You're going to enjoy this program very, very much. Hopefully for you, this is going to be a life-changing trip. After this program is fully published, I will be setting up live sessions so we can talk and I can answer any questions you might have instantly. Meantime, my email is below and you can write to me and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. So, welcome to 7 Days to Happiness. Thank you so much for watching. Many blessings unto you, and I'll see you in episode 1.